Have you ever noticed something strange about your own mind? You can be sitting somewhere quiet, maybe in a cafe, maybe at home, maybe on a bus, and suddenly your thoughts start moving faster and faster. You remember something awkward you said 3 years ago. You start imagining conversations that haven't even happened yet. You think about decisions you made and wonder if they were wrong. Your mind jumps from one thought to another like it's trying to solve a puzzle that never ends. If this feels familiar, stay with me until the very end of this video, because the truth about overthinking is not what most people believe. And once you understand the real reason your mind does this, you may finally learn how to slow it down. And if you enjoy calm psychological insights about the mind and personal growth, consider subscribing to the channel and watching until the end. It really helps this channel reach more people who need these ideas. Now here's something most people misunderstand. People think overthinking means someone is weak, or anxious, or indecisive. But in reality, overthinking often begins for a completely different reason. Your brain is trying to protect you. Think about it. Your mind evolved to scan the world for danger. Thousands of years ago, noticing small details could mean survival. A strange sound in the forest, a change in someone's behavior, a possible threat in the environment. The people who paid attention survived, and the people who ignored signals often didn't. So your brain developed a powerful system. It constantly analyzes situations. It predicts outcomes. It searches for mistakes before they happen. In other words, your brain is trying to keep you safe. But here is where the problem begins. The world we live in today is very different from the world our brain evolved in. Instead of physical danger, we deal with social danger. What will people think of me? Did I say the wrong thing? Did I make the right decision? What if I fail? And the brain treats these questions almost like survival threats. So it starts working harder, analyzing, replaying, predicting, trying to find the perfect answer. But life rarely offers perfect answers. So the brain keeps searching, and the thinking never stops. That is what overthinking really is. A brain that is trying too hard to control uncertainty. And ironically, the more you try to control everything with thought, the more overwhelmed you feel. Because the mind is very good at creating possibilities. It can imagine hundreds of scenarios, but most of those scenarios will never happen. Yet your brain reacts to them as if they might. This is why overthinking often happens in quiet moments, when you are alone, when there are no distractions. Your mind finally has space, and it fills that space with analysis. But here's an important insight. People who overthink are often the same people who are highly aware. They notice details others ignore. They reflect on their actions. They try to understand themselves and the world more deeply. In other words, the problem isn't that your brain is broken. The problem is that your brain never learned when to stop. Think of it like a powerful engine. If a car engine runs all the time at maximum speed, it will overheat, even if it's a good engine. Your mind works the same way. Without rest, it begins to create problems instead of solving them. This is why some of the calmest people you will ever meet are not people with the simplest minds. They are people who learned something important. They learned how to step away from their thoughts. Instead of believing every thought that appears, they observe them. Instead of trying to solve everything immediately, they allow uncertainty. And this creates something very powerful: mental space. When there is space in the mind, clarity appears. Decisions become easier, emotions become calmer, and life feels lighter. But most people were never taught this skill. From childhood, we are encouraged to think more, analyze more, plan more, work harder with our minds. Very few people are taught the opposite skill: letting the mind rest, letting thoughts pass, allowing life to unfold without constant control. One simple exercise can begin changing this pattern. The next time you notice yourself overthinking, pause for a moment. Instead of fighting the thoughts, just notice them. Imagine you are watching clouds moving across the sky. Each cloud is a thought. Some clouds are small, some clouds are heavy, but they all pass eventually. You do not need to chase them. You do not need to solve them immediately. You can simply observe. This small shift may feel simple, but over time it can completely change the relationship you have with your mind. Because the goal is not to eliminate thinking. Thinking is useful. Thinking is powerful. But thinking should be a tool, not a prison. The calmest minds are not empty minds. They are minds that know when to engage and when to let go. And once you understand this, something interesting happens. You begin to trust yourself more. You no longer need to analyze every possible outcome. You learn that life can still move forward even without perfect certainty. And slowly the constant noise in the mind begins to quiet down. Not completely, but enough that you can hear something else. Your intuition, your clarity, your real thoughts. And that is when thinking becomes helpful again instead of exhausting. So if you often feel trapped in your own mind, remember this. Your brain is not your enemy. It is simply doing what it was designed to do. Protect you. Predict the future. Avoid mistakes. But you are allowed to give it rest. You are allowed to step back. You are allowed to live without solving every thought that appears. Because sometimes the clearest answers come not from thinking harder, but from thinking less. And that quiet space inside your mind is where real clarity begins.